What's up, everybody? Clint Esposito here for Skull and Bros with my bro Rasmus. What's up, Rasmus?
Not much, man. What's happening?
Not much. Just woke up, tried to do some research and get online here in a timely manner, which didn't necessarily work out as well as I had anticipated, but I'm good.
It's fine.
We got a
Yeah.
good rabbit hole here to go down.
Huge. It's huge, man. I'll be honest to everyone listening. I didn't do much research at all, but I mean, one Google away from a fucking list of 180 things that are sketchy about this topic. So we can dig into a lot of stuff here.
I liked when I looked, there was just as many articles like debunking as there was saying that there was
Yeah.
conspiracies. It was pretty
Yeah,
funny.
there's like more. If you Google it, the most of the shit that comes up is like debunking the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. So I have that Brave browser, which is supposed to be, like not whatever you want to say it, controlled or whatever. And I've always
Yeah.
just been able to search images. And all of a sudden today, when I searched images for 911, it started saying when I would go, the rest of it would work, but when I would go images, it would be like, do you want to view this on Bing or Google Chrome? And I'm like, this
What?
has never happened to me before. I'm like, why can't I just Google it here? So that was a
Also, it's
interesting one.
sending you to a different browser.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. What? But because I still use DuckDuckGo.
I
I don't
heard
know if that's been, you know,
that's what I
infiltrated or
heard.
whatever, but it's better than Google, I'd say, to find stuff.
Yeah, but it's such a slippery slope, right? Because there's definitely we're kind of late because I was looking for one specific picture where there are people standing in the rubble and there's one beam that's like cut on an angle, the exact way that they would do in some type of demolition. And I've seen it pop up on Instagram
I think I've seen that one.
and
Yeah.
I cannot find. I did find something similar that just some random woman posted, and you could tell she's not like a conspiracy theorist. She's just like, "Oh man, look at the wreckage," and then I see it, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh fuck, there's some red flags in here." So
Yeah.
I'll bring up switch our views here so everybody can see the. Why is it like that? Hold on. Of course, I have to fix something. It doesn't have the right page pulled up, or it doesn't have a. There we go. Okay. All right. So the first thing I got pulled up is court filing claims CIA recruited 9/11 hijackers. Donald
Hmm.
C. Canestro is a former special agent for the Drug Enforcement Administration where he worked for 21 years. Since 2016, he has worked as an investigator assigned to the Office of Military Commissions. Military Commissions Defense Organization. His recently released court filings contain some explosive revelations about 911 attacks. The declaration was originally released in 2021, but was most entirely redacted, which makes sense, right? Uh, Mr. Canestro says he began an investigation in 2016 into the possible involvement of Saudi Arabian government and the Central Intelligence Agency in the events leading up to the 9/11 attacks. A suspected Saudi intelligence officer, Omar al Boyoumi, had been in contact with two of the 9/11 hijackers, Nawaf al. These names are going to kill us. We'll just call him Nawaf and Khalid. FBI agents conducted numerous interviews regarding al Bayoumi after 9/11 attacks. These interviews show that he was seen with the two hijackers on numerous occasions and had organized social gatherings for them. He had also helped the pair find an apartment. Released FBI information show the FBI agents interviewed Bayoumi in 2003 in Saudi Arabia. He claimed he had met the hijackers in a restaurant in Los Angeles after hearing them speak Arabic. However, witnesses say that he dropped a piece of paper near the table in order to instigate a conversation. Bayoumi was also in contact with the Saudi government officials in Los Angeles and made numerous phone calls to him before 9/11 attacks. According to a 9/11 Commission investigator, Bayoumi was receiving substantial sums of money from the Saudi embassy in Washington before the 9/11 attacks, and that money was being funneled through accounts belonging to the wife of the Saudi ambassador. Months before the 9/11 attacks, Bayoumi's monthly allowance from a job that he rarely showed up to rose from $465 to $3,700. This job was for a company that subcontracted to Saudi aviation company with ties to the Saudi government. Interviews.
I'm not getting it. Who's this Bayomi? Is he from the
So
CIA?
no, he is, well, maybe he is a let's see it in again. A suspected Saudi intelligence officer, Omar
Oh, so
al-Bayoumi.
like CIA for Saudi.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
Interviews with a former FBI special agent handling all matters concerning Osama bin Laden show that the disgraced FBI. This is also weird in this article. They continue to call it the disgraced FBI. It's like, who the fuck is writing this? Why are they so mad at the FBI?
Yeah. Where's the article from?
It is USSA News. Very reputable source in the news community. Interviews with a former FBI special agent handling all matters concerning. Okay. Osama bin Laden showed the disgraced FBI became aware in 2000 that the hijackers had multiple entry visas to enter the U.S. The CIA tracked the individuals through Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala
Why can't
Lumpur.
I read?
Kuala Lumpur.
There you go. Because I
Yeah.
never heard of that place. And
No?
Bangkok, and noted meetings with Al Qaeda. A Central Intelligence Aid report containing all this information was sent to the disgraced FBI, but it went missing. This is why they're disgraced, I guess. Furthermore, the witness who discusses the CIR was told by CIA officials not to fully cooperate with congressional investigation. This witness claimed that the reason for the CIR going missing was that the agency did not want the disgraced FBI interfering with the CIA operation that was being run domestically in violation of U.S. law. Whoever wrote this is obviously on the CIA side. He hates the FBI.
Yeah.
The witnesses say in June 2001, the CIA approached the disgraced FBI counterterrorism squad for a meeting regarding the hijackers. Apparently, the CIA had lost track of the two terrorists and needed the disgraced FBI's help. The CIA lost track of them. It sounds like they're disgraced as well. Like, what the fuck is with this article?
Hey, I read something just before going on. Someone said that the hijackers actually survived. Like they're still alive or some shit.
I don't know. I
Is there
haven't
any
seen
truth
any
to
of
that?
that. I don't know. There were
I'll see if I can
19.
find it.
There were 19,
Yep.
and I think some of them maybe didn't get on their planes or something.
Ah.
I'm not really sure.
But like, I don't know. This whole thing is kind of weird to me. Like, for one, I would think, not being from the US, if someone says, Oh, so I'm just gonna if I hijack an airplane, fly over American airspace to for whatever reason, doesn't matter. Would I make it to where I want to go? I would guess, fuck no, they're gonna shoot you down. Like if you don't have a permission, if they don't like, that's super weird to me. That because it seems like the U.S. would have the intelligence and the military capacity to
Take the
defend
planes out.
themselves against anyone who flies in there.
You know, it was domestic planes, and I guess because civilians were on there. I mean the and I'm just being, why they wouldn't have done it, but
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Well, that
I,
makes sense.
I
But then
guess, but they're
how do you
dying
even
anyway.
hijack a? Yeah, yeah, they're dying anyways, right?
So it's like, you know what I mean, not shooting it down so
Yeah.
that you save those
But
people.
also then okay, I'll argue the point that maybe they don't know where they're gonna crash the plane if they're gonna crash the plane, so
Right.
that's why they don't shoot it down, right? But also, how is it? How do you hijack a plane? How do you even get? Like, I don't see how that's possible
I don't
without
know.
any help from like someone on the inside. Like
Right. What did they even have?
I don't
Box
know.
cutters or something? Like you took over a whole plane with box cutters?
I don't know. Wasn't there one plane who actually didn't?
So
Well,
that's,
I think it crashed, but it crashed in a field somewhere
yes,
because
exactly.
the passengers attacked the terrorists. Or
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's yeah, the one dude was on the phone with his wife. There's actually, I think, footage. So that guy, that's where that saying "Let's roll" came from. Apparently that guy used to say it all the time. And he
Oh,
called his wife and he was like, "Hey, the plane's being hijacked, this and that." And then you can hear him on the phone being like, "We're going to, go or whatever. Let's roll." And he hung up, and then that was
oh,
it.
to go and attack the
Yeah.
hijackers.
Yeah, but that
What
was
a
like his
gangster!
that was like his statement anyway that he used to say all the time, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And then just in that situation, he said it again to his wife. But he's like,
Wow, what a gangster, man. That's some fucking what's the movie Bruce Willis? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
"Die Hard?"
Die Hard. There's some Die Hard shit right there.
Yeah.
Let's
That
roll.
like that's the thing though, like you said, there are tons of people on all of these flights.
Yeah.
Nobody at any point was like, let's try and stop these people.
Well, I mean, if they had guns,
I don't think, how would you get a gun on the plane?
that's the thing. I would assume they had guns because no one stopped them, right?
I don't
But then
think that
how
they
did you get
did.
the gun into the airport without help?
Right.
Or I mean, is it maybe is this simple? Because I know the airport, Stockholm's airport, Arlanda.
Uh-huh.
If you go there, I'm pretty sure that you could probably just cut through the fence and just run into the to the airstrip.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, right?
I mean,
Probably.
it's possible, I guess.
But I don't know. It's weird to me. Either way, it's kind of weird. And but even if you do that, then someone would have seen you coming, right?
You would think so.
Yeah, and you guys have or supposedly you have good security.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm
No.
saying. Like in Sweden, I understand if it happened here, because no one has guns. Like the police have guns, but I don't think there's like a bunch of police officer with guns at the airport. But in the US, I would assume there's some people there with some guns, like
That's a good.
in every airport.
I'm trying to think. Last time I went through, I didn't really pay attention for guns. I don't think the TSA people do, but I would imagine
Yeah.
somewhere there's people there, you would hope.
We would hope so. But actually, maybe not before 9/11. Didn't you guys change the
Yeah, oh yeah. Flying
stuff
got
after?
way
Yeah.
tighter after 9/11. Because
Yeah.
prior, it was like you could have people walk you to the friggin' gate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
weird.
still, I don't think, I'm pretty sure they would be, checking your stuff. They're not, um, just letting you go through with whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't.
there's always been some security at the airports. I assume. Maybe not.
Hijackers reassured pilot while they stabbed stewardess. Is this something I gotta pay for? Yeah. Okay, we're
They
out of there.
stabbed the stewardess.
And he was reassuring the pilot, it says. Maybe we can just get. The pilot of the first aircraft to hit New York's World Trade Center was told that he was not going to get hurt as Arab hijackers stabbed the stewardess in the rear of the plane to lure him out of the cockpit. Yeah, stabbed. So,
Hmm.
uh, so 50, John, another crazy name. 50, a Vietnam veteran had the presence of mind to activate the push to talk button intermittently so that the authorities on the ground could listen to the horrific events unfolding.
Oh, so there's some audio
Yeah.
so they could actually hear it live.
Yeah, let's see if we can. I spell audio instead of audio.
Hmm.
Everybody's watching me spell stuff wrong. I don't see. Of course, they don't have it just easily accessible. Okay. So yeah, now here's another the gray zone bombshell filing 9/11 hijackers were CIA recruits. I think this is more of a direct. A newly released court filing raises the questions about the relationship between Alex Station, a CIA unit set up to track Al Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden and his associates. Yeah, this is more direct than what that other article mentioned that guy
Yeah.
briefly, but and the two 9/11 hijackers leading up to the attacks, which was subject to a cover-up at the highest levels of the disgraced FBI. They didn't say it.
There's the same dude who wrote
No,
it.
I had I added it myself. Obtained by Spy Talk, the filing in a 21-page declaration by Don Canestrario, I don't know, a leading investigator of the official military commissions, the legal body overseeing the cases of 9/11 defendants. It summarized classified government discovery disclosures and private interviews he conducted with anonymous high ranking CIA and FBI officials. Many agents who spoke to whatever the hell the guy's name is headed up Operation Encore. The bureau's aborted long-running probe into Saudi government connections to the 9/11 attack. That's weird that they stopped that investigation. Despite
Yeah.
conducting multiple lengthy interviews with a range of witnesses, producing hundreds of pages of evidence, formally investigating several Saudi officials, and launching a grand jury to probe a RIDA run US based support network for the hijackers. Encore was abruptly terminated 2016. This was uh, purportedly due to a Byzantine intra FBI bust up over investigative methods. Jesus. When originally released in 2021 on the office's public court docket, every part of the document was redacted except an unclassified marking, giving it explosive contents. It is not difficult to see why Canistero's investigation concluded. At least two 9/11 hijackers had been recruited either knowingly or unknowingly into the joint CIA Saudi intelligence operation, which may have gone awry. It says a 50-50 chance of Saudi involvement. But so the CIA did have they did have contact with these people, which is like in the US, for all of the tracking abilities that we have, for all of the surveillance precautions that we've put into place, all of these school shooters, all of these hijackers, all of these big events, the people that perpetrate the events have some sort of connection or contact or involvement with the CIA or the FBI. Every single one has somehow either been looked into by the CIA or the FBI, or
Yeah,
they were some kind of informant, or they were in some kind of program at some point. Like,
yeah. There's so many. Dude, do you remember that Vegas shooting that happened a
yeah,
couple years ago?
this is my point. All of these things.
It's, I mean, but there's also like you would think that maybe they do it smarter in some of them, but like the Vegas one was so weird because he was in a hotel room, right? In
Mm,
Vegas,
yeah,
where you can't open the windows in the hotel room in Vegas on like the 20th floor or whatever the fuck he was at. And
yeah.
also, how did you get like there was just fucking 50 things that didn't make sense at
Well, he
all.
had massive amounts of guns in there.
Yeah, it was like an army.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know.
Um. All right, this one doesn't. Let's see.
But
Okay, so we got a I have a picture pulled up now where
let's see.
you can. I mean, maybe they are actually cutting the stuff down, and that's what this is. This is not the one that I was looking for originally.
What
Okay, here you
picture
go.
is
I
it?
found a good one. So here is a picture. Oh shit, you can even see on this one
Oh,
of
is
them.
that beam?
Yeah. I mean, why are all these beams straight? Yo, see, why did it just go away? Oh, it came back. I was like, they're fucking with me. Okay, look at all those beams. I'll zoom in some more. The tops of all these beams look like they got cut.
Yeah, they're like clean,
Yeah,
clean cuts.
straight across. This is, and they're still standing. The whole building fell down, and those things are just sitting there like that. And everything was supposed to twist and fall.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Is that not?
Wasn't there a guy? There was some, not only one guy, but there was a lot of like, uh, what would you call them? Like construction people, um,
Oh yeah, like
like
demolition people and stuff
demolition
that are
experts
like,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
exactly.
But
Here's
like
the one.
that looks like controlled demolition for sure.
Here, this is just some random lady uh, on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, like, why are all those things about even and just sitting there and flush at the top?
Coincidence, man. Must be a coincidence.
Exactly. You know,
But you know what's weird to me is the stuff that is like because these things you could probably argue you can find experts that will say it looks normal, it looks whatever. But the stuff that's super like weird to me are like they found one of the dude's passports. It's like, wait, what? Didn't the plane just fucking go up in
they
flames?
found
But
multiple.
his passport is like is like a kryptonite
Yeah,
to fire and explosions. Like it just
I
fell
want to
down on the
say
ground next to someone.
they found more than one. I want to say they found one in New York and they found one in like by the Pentagon or something. And
I'm sure they did, yeah.
it's like all of a sudden like how often nobody else's passports were found. They found one passport from there was 200 people on this plane. They found one passport happens to be from the
Of course,
hijacker.
yeah, I was like Bin Laden's cousin or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course they found it. Dude, there's a creepy thing. I don't know if you ever saw this. Do you know the Microsoft Word thing on the 9/11?
No.
Okay, so I'll look. I think I have it here. Hold on. I know people can't see what I'm doing on my computer, but Microsoft Word 9. 11. So, do you have Microsoft Word on your computer?
I don't think I do. Maybe.
Um,
Send it to me, see if I can open it.
Well, I don't have it on mine. Uh, but apparently, if you go, and I've actually done this before. If you go to Microsoft Word and you type in, hold on, where is it? You type in, where the fuck did it go? Oh, here it is. So you go to Microsoft Word, you type in capital letters Q33NY, which is the flight number of one of the planes.
Mm-hmm.
And you highlight it, you enlarge the font to 48, and you click on font styles and select Wingdings and see what pops up. It's freaky as fuck. And apparently this was there before 9/11, is what people are saying, that you could do this before 9/11. And what comes up is like the symbols, and there's an airplane, and then there's two it's supposed to be two towers, and then there's a skull with bones, and then the Jewish star.
Wow.
It's so weird, man. I saw this a couple of years ago. I was like, what the fuck? Because that's the actual flight number of the plane.
Right. Dude.
Are you using Word?
I don't I was looking for it, but
Oh,
I
you don't
don't
have it.
have it.
Ah, shit. Well, you could probably just put like someone would have done that and made a
Oh,
video.
yeah,
I'm
let's
sure you
see.
can find it.
I do have a video of a demolition expert pulled up.
All right.
Uh, let me see. Am I?
For anyone watching, I think if you Google 9/11 Wingdings conspiracy, you can find it.
There you go. Wingdings predicted
Yeah.
9/11.
Yeah.
In 1992, days after Windows 3.1 was released, it was revealed that typing in the letters NYC in Wingdings Microsoft all symbols font produced the following anti-Semitic or Jewish conspiracy-backed text, depending on who you ask. Yeah, it's a skull and bones, Jewish star, and a thumbs up.
Yeah. Did you see the one
Microsoft,
with the plane?
no.
Oh, if you just go on pictures, you'd see it.
Well, I got a
Um,
thing that has a bunch of. Microsoft insisted that the arrangement of glyphs was wholly random, which only ended up encouraging the Wingdings truth seekers, because of course that's what someone who hid secret anti-Semitic messages in a nonsensical font would say. There was
Dude,
even an article in the New York Post about the drama.
huh? Dude, look in the chat. I sent you a link so that you can just see the symbols. And he explains it, I think, too.
All right.
And there might be a video there.
Oh, in the chat on.
Yeah, on the Zoom.
Oh, on Zoom. How the hell? There we go. All right, I'm gonna put it up on. I got a lot of windows open here.
Yeah.
Why did it just? It didn't copy it. I think that's what I just had open.
Is it?
Okay, here is a little video for it.
Yeah.
There's another video that is no longer available.
Yeah, of course. This is kind of similar to that card game that we talked about
Yeah,
before. It's like before it happened, you know?
yeah. The card game, we looked it up. It was like $400 or something. Get rid of it.
$400?
Wasn't it? We found one.
No,
So
was it?
yes, there was a newer one
Hmm.
that doesn't have all the stuff. That one's normal price. It was like $20 or something like that. But then I looked and
Oh,
they're like, no, you want the one from the 90s. And that one, because they don't make it anymore, is up to
oh,
like
really?
250, $400 or something like that.
Oh shit! So you have to buy like a used one, like a.
Yeah, on eBay or something.
Oh shit! That's interesting, dude. I might buy one of those. That'd be cool to have.
I know.
It's almost like a collector's object. Like,
I want to get one, but like I said, four, 500, whatever, $300 on a game
yeah, it
right
seems
now.
like a lot for a fucking card game. Yeah, yeah. That was just I don't know. I just remember some dude showing me this word thing a couple
Yep.
years ago, and I was like, that is weird as hell, man.
Yeah, it's showing the little video. That means the Microsoft knew it was coming. That proves 9/11 was an inside job. If they did it in, I mean, I don't know that any of this proves anything, but so
Well,
isn't Bill Gates Microsoft?
see, that's what's so interesting. That's what's who's Microsoft. You have to look at who it is, you know.
I thought Bill Gates.
That's what's so interesting.
Who owns Microsoft?
I don't know if he owns it anymore, but he used to. He's the founder, isn't he?
Yeah, I
He's the
thought so.
CEO and founder of Microsoft. Even though I think he stole the actual
Yeah.
uh, what do you call it?
Yeah, the premise.
Programming.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
did hear that as well. There was somebody actually, I wish we had this clip up. There was somebody recently that interviewed him, and he was
Oh
saying
yeah.
all this stuff, and he goes, "Why should we trust you? You stole Microsoft." And he's like, "Oh, that's not how business works," and all this stuff.
Dude, I saw. Didn't I send you that one? I
Maybe.
saw that a few weeks ago, but then again, you never know like what if they clipped that together and made
Yeah.
it look like that. Like, it's very hard to say. But that lady actually questioned him on the jabs also.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, "Why should we trust you on that? You
Yeah.
don't have a medical degree or anything like that, and you're
Exactly.
heavily invested in the companies." Dude, you know what's scary? I don't know. Did I tell you this last time? He put $1 billion into Heineken recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so and it's not just Heineken because they own a bunch of other beer companies.
Right.
So I don't know what his plan is, but I was like, maybe I should stop drinking Heineken.
Yeah, GMO beers is what he's gonna do. mRNA
Probably.
beers, probably.
Yeah, yeah, probably, man.
So top Microsoft shareholders. And this is just companies that own a lot of shares for them. I mean, there are some Satya Nadella owns 1,337,768 shares of Microsoft, representing 0.02. That's it. Um,
Whoa.
he has served as chief executive officer of Microsoft since 2014. Bradford
Uh,
L. Smith. Um, Smith is president and chief legal officer of the company. There you go. That's all the people. Jean Philippe Cortis is executive vice president and president, Microsoft Global Sales. Top 3 institutional shareholders. There you go. That's what I was looking at. You're never going to believe it. Vanguard Group,
oh no, for real.
BlackRock.
Oh, I'm shocked. I'm so shocked.
Isn't this weird?
I can't believe it. I'm shocked.
State Street Corporation, which I don't know what that is. And oh, never mind. Why is this even in? We're looking at shareholders, right? And then the next paragraph here is diversity and inclusiveness of Microsoft. Where
What?
what does that have to do with anything here? This nobody asked that. It makes zero sense. And then they even have a chart here that says Microsoft Diversity and Inclusiveness Reporting. Board of Directors. It says race, there's no check. Gender, there's a check. I don't know what that
What?
means. General Management, there's a check, but it says U.S. only. And then there's a check under gender. So I don't even understand what this fucking thing is supposed to be showing us.
They just have to be woke at all, like on every level, you know?
They just have to be like, listen, we're hiring people you wouldn't hire, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Dude, by the way, you know, last week we talked about that what's what's the fucking guy again? Who was sponsored by Bud Light?
Oh, Dylan
Mulvaney?
Mulvaney.
Yeah, the Mulvaney, yeah. And did you see that so Bud Light
Oh, their new
I think they saw a
commercial?
drop in nearly 20% drop in sales. And then they did a new commercial that was like
Oh, yeah.
super patriotic. It was like with a damn horse and a
Yeah.
9/11 thing and all this stuff. Trying to repair the damage they've done.
Dude, I saw
Kind of funny.
Rogan was talking about it, and they were
Ah,
like this is basically if you like typed into Chat GPT and was like, make me the most American Budweiser commercial ever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they're just
yeah.
like, and it doesn't really say anything the whole time. Have you seen it?
I didn't see the whole thing, but nearly.
They don't say, it's just like horses and this and that, and they're just
Yeah,
like, made in America.
yeah.
Yeah, fucking horses
It's
and
fucking
shit. Like, it doesn't actually say, it's
horses and shit.
it's just like, this
And
beard is made for men. And, it's like,
we put a
okay.
damn stallion on the commercial.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Or like, you
But
didn't
that's
actually
like
say
cheating on
anything.
your wife. You cheat on your wife, but then like a week later, because she's still mad, you buy her a bunch of shit that you think that she would like
Yeah.
to make up for you fucking someone else. It's just
And you're like, I'm the
it's
best husband ever. Check me out.
yeah. Check me out. Father of the year, husband of the year.
All right, I'm going to play this
Hilarious.
demolition expert,
Yes.
explosives expert.
Back to the topic, man. We keep fucking going on to different shit.
Tribute lights in the New York skyline.
How
An
long is
annual
this? 2
memorial
hours. We're not going
to
to
the
make it.
lives lost on 9/11. Yet there's still more light that needs to shine, revealing truths that
And when
I'm
I saw
skipping in.
Building 7 come down, to me, Building 7, the fact that it looks like a perfect controlled demolition of an intact building with no visible fires. I mean, that's what I call a smoking gun.
My name is Robert McCoy. I'm an architect, a Bachelor of Architecture from the University of California in Berkeley in 1963. Been licensed in California since about 1964. From about 1965 until about 1985, most of my experience has been in high-rise, multi-story steel buildings. NIST would have us to believe that these was a typical office fire, scattered office fires, if you will, that brought this building down. Since the mid-60s, I've tried to follow high-rise fires because they're something we worry a lot about as we design these buildings. And I'm not aware of any high-rise building that have come down as a result of fires. I can't remember even a partial collapse in any of these buildings that I've watched over the years.
I'm Steve Barish, founder and president of.
Was the Tower 7? What? Because I don't know. I don't know the different towers and all that. But the Tower 7, wasn't that the one where there was like no plane?
There's a building. I'm pretty sure there was a building in between Towers 1 and 2 and Tower 7. It's like around the block. It's not even.
So if the plane it would have crashed into the other building, like
It's
in
not
between.
even. It literally got hit by nothing.
And how did they explain that then?
Just the fire. Like
It just caught fire.
it caught fire and collapsed. Like nothing hit it. The issue is that they paint, and this is what they do with everything. They paint enough of you being a scumbag just for asking these questions that
Yeah.
nobody wants to ask the question. You know,
Yeah, of course.
just like when Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field, right? And people are like,
Mm.
"Did he get the jab?" And everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you for asking? Why is it such a harm to ask? Like, you're not a scumbag just for asking. If
No.
something went on and you can figure out what it is and possibly prevent it in the future, it seems like a worthwhile conversation to have."
Yeah.
But they
See,
immediately are just like, "No, you can't."
dude, your volume just went way down.
Really?
I actually can't hear you anymore.
Hello.
Turn it up more.
No. Check.
I can
check.
kind of hear you.
Now can you hear me?
Hey, kind of.
Only kind of?
Oh, now I can. Yeah, you're back.
That's weird.
Weird, man. I'll turn my volume up,
They're
actually.
fucking with us.
Yeah, it's to me, anything that you can't question, that's what needs to be questioned. That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah. That's the
So-
whole bullshit about trust the science. You're not allowed to ask any questions of science. I thought that's what science was
You question it.
finding something and then you go, okay, can we replicate this? Okay, does this make sense? Okay.
Exactly.
Are there any other, you know what I mean, factors? Like,
But that Tower 7 is the weirdest thing to me because if no matter how you, so what? It's just a fire. So Larry was cooking on floor 9 and he just forgot the stove. Like, what do you mean? It was just a fire.
I assume they maybe want to pretend like stuff shot out of the buildings hit maybe, and then stuff shot out
Oh,
of
the
there
other-
onto the.
But why didn't any other house? There's tons of buildings around there. There would
I
have been
know-
other buildings that would have been fucked up also.
Exactly. Let's see. This is a long story here. The 47-story model calculation showed that the combination of debris, impact damage, fire, induced damage, and thermal loads resulted in the global collapse. In the global? What the hell? Why would they have global in there? Collapse of World Trade Center 7. The key events that occurred in the global analysis are summarized below. Why do they keep saying global? The initial failure event was the bucking of column 79. This event was followed by the buckling of adjacent columns 80 and 81. The floor framing structure was thermally weakened at floors 8 to 14, with the most substantial damage occurring in the east region of floors 12, 13, and 14. Yeah, but again, like they're just saying
They're not saying
debris.
why
It didn't even
went
get
down.
hit from a plane. They're just saying debris from the other buildings fell onto that building and then it got hot enough to fall straight down.
And it's a steel building.
Yeah. See
I
the
don't even know what to say to that.
the
Like, I
third-
never actually. That's just don't every like I don't even live in the U.S. and I'm like, what the fuck? Don't people who live there like question this stuff? Like, I know a lot of people are.
you
but
no
It would
because
seem to me that most people would.
not
Is there
most
video of it? Is
of
there
it
video
going
of that
down.
building?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because wasn't there one? Is it the Pentagon that has no video footage of?
Yeah, their cameras
thing.
went out.
Well, yeah, just like Epstein.
Yeah. Dude, so when I go in the thing, when I go to look at videos, it brings up again view video results on Bing or Google. I can't even do it here.
What the?
So the thing I was just playing, they had They had just played the towers collapsing. They played it next to another building collapsing.
And
Oh,
when
to
I
compare
saw
how
Yeah.
it
Building
looks.
7 come down,
Okay, so right now on the thing,
Building 7, the fact that it
there you go.
looks
They're
like
showing it
a
next to
perfect
another.
controlled demolition of an intact
I can't see it live.
My
No.
PhD
The people
is in
watching can see it, I'm
aeronautics
sure.
and nuclear engineering from Caltech. I did
Are you on the
postdoctoral
YouTube?
work at the von
Yeah.
Karman Institute in
It's like a
Washington
minute behind or
in
something.
finite element analysis. I taught at 5 universities,
Yeah. All right.
and when I saw Building 7 come down, to me,
I think they're gonna
Building
show it
7,
again.
the fact that it looks
Yeah,
like
and
a
it's not even. It's barely smoking from the backside when it falls.
intact building with no visible fires. I mean, that's
Let's
what I
see.
call a smoking gun.
My name is
Structural failure. You carefully go through the debris field, looking at each item, photographing every beam as it collapsed and every column where it is in the ground, and you pick them up very carefully and you
Oh, there, I can see it now.
look at each element. We were unable
What the-
to do that in the case of Tower 7.
Aside from this one small piece that was found to have intergranular melting, incredibly, none of the other steel from World Trade Center 7 was saved for analysis. This is disconcerting, considering World Trade Center 7 would have been the first steel frame high-rise building in history to ostensibly collapse due to fire.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw it.
This is 2 hours of experts, explosive experts, and demolition experts, and building architects discussing the likelihood of all this shit.
Yeah, but it's super weird. Even to me, I'm not in any way an expert on buildings, but a building that stands like this, and then it gets hit like this, right? And then it just crumbles straight
Yeah.
down.
Well, think
It's
about
very, very weird to me.
yeah, and it was far. I could see maybe if the planes hit at the base, right?
Yeah,
and then
maybe-
you got
maybe then,
and
yeah.
then you got fire because it's weak from the base, right? But it's like 3/4 of the way up those planes hit. So you're telling me that the last whatever 20 or 30 stories crunched was heavy enough to totally just smash the bottom floors?
Yeah, in that case, it seems like the building were about to come down either way, if it's that weak to
Right.
hold its own weight. But then there was also witnesses saying they heard explosions before the plane hit, and you could kind of, like, I saw a video of it before where you can kind of see some weird stuff coming from the more of
Yeah.
the bottom of the buildings. But then they explain it with saying like, well, you can't trust witnesses.
Yeah. Well, there's even
Which
videos.
is true in a lot of cases. Witnesses get shit wrong, but
That's true.
I don't know.
And there are even there's a bunch of the original newscasts that are gone, because if you watch, I've seen some of them where they're talking to people on the street and they're like, we heard explosions inside the building from the
Oh yeah,
live news from that day, but it's very hard to find now, and obviously they're going to try to send me to Bing or fucking Google to find it.
yeah, of course. And someone said this. This is way back, but I heard or saw a video or something. They said like a week or a couple of weeks before this happened, they blocked off a few of the floors to do something in there. I don't know what they were doing, but
Really?
like basically no employees could go in those floors. So then the theory was that what they did is they put bombs in there
Right.
before, like, yeah.
So, Mike, the guy that I did Free Thinkers Society with, he actually was going to culinary school in New York. And he's never really elaborated on it. But he said that during this whole thing, they ran down there to try to help. And he said when he got under some buildings, there was a lot of shit there that they were like, what the fuck is going on? And he even says he heard, explosions.
Wait, so he was like in the neighborhood?
Yeah,
Like he was around the corner?
yeah,
What the fuck? That must have been crazy.
yeah.
It is true what they say, 9/11 is one of those days where you remember exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old when that happened, and I remember exactly where I was at.
I'm 10 years older than you.
You were 21 when it happened.
I was 21.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. I mean, well, obviously it's fucking crazy, but the whole thing, I mean, at the end of it all, some very wealthy people make tons of money on wars, right? The
Yeah.
war on terror. People are profiting from that.
Well, and they even pushed the Patriot Act through.
Oh yeah, that's the one that says that they can spy on you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm on Rumble now. We might be able to actually find something on here about it. Original news reports. 911. Let's see. Not very good at too much news report. Original news footage. The return of our original DNA. That I don't see.
What the?
There you go.
Well, I mean, either way, if you know, I believe you. I mean, there's tons of videos that you can't find these days.
I know. Well, that's I wanted to. Yeah, it is interesting. The news reports. We'll have to find that shit, but. I mean, this is my whole thing. Everybody has had that we're supposed to have all this fucking great. We've passed all these bills so we can spy on ourselves,
Yeah.
and we're following all this shit and they found everybody from January 6th and locked them up. Like, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
we have hijackers in the United States with fake ass passports. And they have some kind of association with CIA, and everybody's just like, no, that's not what happened. I think that the reason these things work and the reason they can get away with this stuff is because you and I could never, ever, ever imagine doing something like that or allowing it to happen. Let's say, best case scenario, right? They didn't do it, but they just didn't stop it.
Yeah.
Right? So
They enabled it.
right. Let's say they didn't even, let's go benefit of the doubt for them. They didn't even do it themselves, okay? They didn't even aid them. They just were like
Yeah.
spinning their whistle or whatever they were
Yeah.
doing. Like, you can't convince me that that's not what happened.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just,
I mean, these things, all of these things, is the same with the pandemic and with all of these huge things. To someone who has never looked into anything before, it sounds so ridiculous that people go, that's some shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's how would you orchestrate that? And that's why they can orchestrate it, because people are like, that sounds like sci-fi or fantasy. Like, this sounds too ridiculous,
yeah.
And that's why it works. That's what I think.
No, for sure. And like I said, the guilt thing. And it's the same, so the same thing they did with Alex Jones, right? They sued him for the Sandy Hook thing because he said Sandy Hook was probably was a false
Yeah.
flag or whatever, and so then they sue him, which I don't even understand really. They sued him for like anguish or something, not even for lying,
Anguish.
not for like. I'm pretty sure the lawsuit was like being distraught or something. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, because they don't have actual information that what he's saying is false. They can't
It's more like he hurt some people's feelings.
exactly, and that's like
Right.
what he got sued for, which is
Yeah.
like, okay, how does that work? People, I thought you were allowed to
Yeah.
say bullshit. You know what I mean? As long as you're not directly physically hurting somebody, or like now we're to
Yeah.
the point where you can't even question stuff because people will get upset about it.
Yeah. Also, didn't he get sued for like $1 billion or some ridiculous amount of money?
I want to say it was for this.
For what?
I think it was for the Sandy Hook thing.
Oh no, it was. I'm just saying
Oh
that
yeah,
they
it
wanted
was
him
something
to pay
ridiculous.
$1 billion. It was some crazy amount of money. And what happened to that? Did he actually lose the case or what?
I don't know. So here's a good article. You'll like this one. It's from NBC News. Well, that makes sense. Alex Jones' losses are not enough. Defamation lawsuits are vital tools, but they are not solutions to the lie machines built by American savvy, cynical misinformation prophets. What do we need to do? We need to lock them up. It needs to be against the law to say anything. Like, what are these people going for?
But yeah, that's what they want, right?
Yes.
If you go against the agenda, then you're gonna get locked up. But you have to also look at Alex Jones. Maybe he said some crazy shit, but also he was fucking right about some crazy shit too.
A lot of stuff. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
A
like,
long time ago.
Dude, wasn't it like 30 years ago where he went to that what's that meeting in the woods where the elite pedophiles they worship Moloch or some shit?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it and I forgot.
It's called something. It's like Burning Man
Grove.
For Bohemian Grove. Yeah.
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 He
was right about that.
He got in there with a camera and filmed it.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
yeah, I don't know.
Yes, you're right. $1 billion.
It was, right?
Connecticut jury on Wednesday ordered conspiracy theorist Alex Jones to pay nearly $1 billion for defaming the families of 2012 Sandy Hook shooting. Given Jones' wealth, which was estimated at $135 million to $270 million if you include his media company, the verdict would seem bound to put Jones out of business.
Yeah.
Obviously what they're trying to do. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, here was it. Misinformation purveyors often use a variety of rhetorical techniques to create misleading impressions without making demonstrably false statements. See, it's not demonstrably false.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, you can't disprove him. That's why it's a defamation. You're just like, you made us look bad.
Bad. Yeah. But isn't that weird? I thought about this before. So, a quick example, right? If in Sweden, I know our governments are very different, but at the very top, they're probably the same.
They're run by the same people.
Yeah, exactly. So if I run a business, right? So I'll give you an example of a stupid fucking thing we have here. So if I buy a car on the company or I lease a car on the company, which I do, they require you to keep track of, because if you lease it on the company,
business
it's tax
miles
deductible. Yeah, so you're not allowed to drive it privately.
Right.
So if I don't keep track of that, and they do like a revision of my company, they're gonna ask me for like either digital or just a handwritten book on like all the mileage I put on the car.
Yep.
So I'm guilty without proof. So because I have a private car also. So if I can't prove that I only drive my van at work, I'm guilty, but they don't have to prove that I'm guilty.
Right.
So it's like you're guilty before proven. What is that thing? You're
Innocent,
supposed to be
but
innocent
yeah,
till proven guilty, right?
yeah,
But when it comes to the government, it's the opposite.
yeah. I just did taxes and the same thing. They're like, "Do you have proof that this was?" And I was like, "No. What the fuck would I have? Like, this is not
Exactly.
it's not a semi." And it's like, just because I had a semi and I had a logbook doesn't mean the logbook couldn't be falsified as well. Like, what are you trying to do here?
Yeah. It's so disturbing when you start thinking about it. Like, for example, if I have to pay some sort of tax or anything, if I'm late to pay, or even a ticket or anything like that that comes from the government, if I'm late to pay it, let's say this actually happened to me before. So we have these, and if you go to Stockholm, they have these things that if you drive into the city, there's a thing that scans your license plate,
Hmm.
and then they bill you like 30, it'll be like $3 or $4 every time you cross
Right.
and go in and out of the city. If you're late to pay that, even if it's only $3 or like $5, they will add $50 extra onto your bill if you're late to pay it.
Yeah.
But then if the government owes me money because I paid too much taxes, they can wait like 6 months before they pay me.
Yeah.
And they're not adding like an extra $50 or like, anything to be like, hey, sorry, we're late.
I got a
Like,
good
it's just,
one for you.
rules for thee, not for me kind of thing.
I got a good one. One year I paid my taxes and they accepted it.
Mhm.
They're like, okay. And then the following year, come tax season, they're like, hey, you underpaid us by $1,000. And I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. So then when I go to pay them, they're like, you need to pay us now $1,300. And I'm like,
What?
how am I penalized when you guys accepted the original payment and you waited a year? They charged me a year's interest. But nobody said anything to me over that
Oh,
last
so it's,
year. So why am I getting charged? You guys accepted it. And then
yeah.
a full year later, you go, oh, we fucked up last year. You owe us more money. Here's interest on it because you didn't pay it then, but we agreed to what you paid. There was another tax
Yeah.
thing. What the hell was the other tax thing that happened? I actually have three because I got another one that's good too. One year, I did my taxes. They sent me a check. And I didn't cash the check. I just was like, I don't know if I trust this or whatever. No lie, dude. Like 2 months later, they wrote me back saying that they needed more money from me.
What?
Yeah, they're like, oh, we messed up. You owe us this much. And I'm like, okay. Like, who the fuck sends you a... Wouldn't you check your numbers before you cut checks?
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah. Like, what?
Here's my last one. I had a business in New Jersey a long time ago before I moved away called East Coast de Nostra, and we used to do videos. We do like dirt bike DVDs and stuff. So then we got rid of that. It was, I think, maybe LLC or something. So then we got rid of that, and we filled out all the paperwork to get rid of it and did everything. And this is in 2005, 6, 7 maybe. So then when I move back up to New Jersey, I go to start a business. And when I go in, they're like, oh, you never closed this other business from 2007. And we're like, yeah, we did. So they're like, well, no, you didn't. So you got to pay us. They don't even know what I have to pay. Some years you'll have to pay $750 for that year. Some years you'll have to pay $250 for that year. They ended up being like, I owed them, like, I had to pay to open the case, for them to evaluate it, to then figure out what I owed. And we talked to an accountant and he's like, don't pay any of that. So now I can't open a business in New Jersey because they're trying to get like
What?
they're trying to get like $2,000 back taxes on a business that they now admit. We filed all the stuff. They go, all your paperwork was filled out except for this last signature that needed to be done by your accountant. And the accountant never did it. But they can see that we filed for everything to be closed down. And we did everything we needed to do. And one signature is missing. And they're like, this is still open. So if you want to start a business, you have to pay us for the past 10 years. We're not sure exactly what you're going to owe us per year. It's different per year. And we're like, you can clearly see that I didn't make any money with this business over the past, whatever it was, 12 years or something.
Yeah. And then they sit there and they go, "Muhahaha, fucking peasants." Like, it's, dude, I'll tell you a story, because I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Sweden is at the like top 5 countries of highest taxes in the world. So if you look at like income tax, we pay
Right.
like 30%, 33%, something like that. So I run a business. So me and a dude I work with, we did the calculations on this, and just to make it very easy to see, because they're like, oh yeah, we pay 33% taxes, but that's not like too bad, you know. But then we get taxed on everything that we buy. And if you look at gas, for example, that's like one of the worst ones. So I said, if I want $10 from my business before I pay my income tax, that's going to cost my business about $16 or $17. So from $16 or $17, I'm left with $10. And then they put the income tax on me, which leaves me with like $6.7. And then let's say I want to go get gas for that $6. I pay $6.7. The gas I get is only worth like $2, because the tax on gas here is like 60 or 65% of the price. It's just tax. And then recently, when they upped the fucking, you know, the gas prices from like, I guess it was like so we do liters, not gallons, but I think a gallon is probably 4 liters, something like that.
Yeah.
We used to pay like $1.20, $1.30 per liter, and now it's like $2 per liter, which would be $8 per gallon.
Yeah.
And the politicians is like, because we had an election, it was last year we had the election, and they're like, oh, we're gonna lower you know, we're gonna make sure people can afford gas and all this. And I'm like, they haven't done shit about it. And I'm like, well, that's super easy, just cut the tax. 65% of that shit is just a tax.
Well,
if you
it's
want to
like,
help us, cut the shit. Like,
yeah. Well, how are these fuel companies making record profits? Shouldn't they still be making the same profits?
Yeah,
How?
it's the same with the electricity.
Yeah.
In Sweden also, like the government owned like electricity company, they made a fucking tons of money last year.
Yeah.
Whereas like people that I know had to sell their houses to pay for electricity. Like, people can't afford to stay in their houses anymore because the electricity is so crazy.
Yeah. Dude, it's such
It's
a joke. It's gotta be blatant. There's no way that all this shit, you know, and like, just even the 9/11 thing, right? Like, those people just wasted those lives to push forward some agenda.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's why
made...
nobody can wrap their head around it being orchestrated, right? Because you're just like,
yeah,
there's no way Bush would do that, would allow that. There's no way all these people would allow that to happen. But we just don't understand, I guess.
Well, yeah, if you're not an evil bastard, then how can you can't put yourself into that frame of mind where it's like, who would do this? You can't. Right? But then if you look on the end of it, it's the same with the pandemic. Look at the beginning of the pandemic. Look at the end. Who got all the money and the power?
The rich people that stand to benefit from wars as well.
Of course, it's super profitable to go to war. I mean, and that one after 9/11, that's when Afghanistan happened, right?
Yeah, they said I
Look at
just
the opiate fucking markets.
well, that's so every time we've been in a war since like I don't know about Korea, but definitely Vietnam, maybe Korea, I'm not even sure. But when we were in Vietnam, Vietnam was the biggest producer of poppies, which
Yeah.
makes heroin.
Yeah.
Afghanistan, guess what they were? Biggest producer of heroin. Like,
Yeah.
we just keep invading these places that make the most drugs and then controlling it ourselves. Like, how about that whole thing? Like, just the war on drugs and just them then going and sequestering these places that had a lot of drugs. And then over here, they're pushing that don't do drugs, but then selling it. So I
Yeah.
do have another friend that I know from Georgia that was in the Coast Guard. I want to say he was in the Coast Guard. I don't think he was actually in the Navy. And they were on some boat, and he went and opened. And I trust the guy. He is a little bit crazy now, but he said he opened the door and there was a bunch of like drugs in there, like pot or heroin or whatever. And he said something to his officer or something. One of his commanders saw him, and he said they told him to get out of there, and he said he flipped out on him and was like, "We're supposed to be stopping this shit and all this stuff." And he said it was a room full of drugs on the ship after they had been overseas and were coming back, you know. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Not surprised, motherfucker.
no, and they like to be like, people can't keep secrets and this and that, but a lot of people disappear, you know. So it's like if you whistleblow on any of this stuff, all of a sudden you disappear. Well, it's easy, you know. And the other way is you either disappear, or even if you don't, they just do the Alex Jones thing and be like, oh, this
Yeah.
person's insane. They, you know what I mean? They're whatever, conspiracy theorist, kook, and they just discredit you that way. So, I mean, and then just people's natural tendencies to believe whatever is on the news. You know, which was very evident with the, you know, pandemic, which everybody just following in line of whatever they said on TV, and you're like, you're not even thinking about any of this stuff or how they, you know, the biggest smoking gun on that one is, one, Bill Gates said prior that Trump is going to face a pandemic.
Yeah.
Two, what the fuck is Bill Gates telling us anything about health? The dude is shaped like a potato. Like,
Yeah. He looks like a dead man walking. Like he's
walking diabetes. Like,
yeah, he looks like he's sick. Like really sick.
yeah. So it's just,
Yeah.
that's funny to me with celebrities in general. People love to be like, we talked about this. So and so, The Rock said he's voting for. It's like he's good at like body slamming
Acting.
people, yeah, and pretending to be
Yeah.
other people. What the fuck are you talking about? Who
Yeah,
cares
who
what he
gives a
thinks?
shit what The Rock thinks?
Yeah, he probably
It's so
knows some
funny,
of those
but
people.
on that drug stuff too, it's actually fucking tragic. My dad he's actually a psychologist, which yeah, that doesn't matter. But so my dad's best friend only 2 weeks ago killed himself,
Ugh.
and he's been like suffering from anxiety and depression for at least 10 years, I'm sure. And he put himself into like mental institutions to get help.
Uh-huh.
And that dude is also a fucking psychologist, I think. Anyways, they tried treating him with, you know, SSRIs and all this other stuff. And then because a couple of weeks before he died, my dad he started asking me about, you know, mushrooms and stuff like that.
Mm.
and CBD and THC and stuff. So I showed him some stuff, and I was like, I don't know, maybe show your friend this, and maybe, you know. And my dad said, he even said it. He was like, I don't give a fuck if it's legal or not. Like if I can help my friend, I
Right.
will. You know, I'll try. And he actually brought it up with his friend, but it's, you know, they're that generation who are
Right.
really scared of drugs. Even though my dad actually used to grow weed when he was young, but yeah, the dude didn't want to try it, and he ended up killing himself a
Yeah.
couple of weeks later. And I'm like, but it all comes together, right? If all drugs are illegal, the drugs that actually can help people feel better, then all the heroin, all the prescription drugs that they sell are needed because there's no other way
Right.
to treat it, right? That's why they don't talk about exercise. They don't talk about diet. They don't talk about anything like that. Finding fucking meaning in your life.
Because that's
So it's
not
all like
profitable to them.
connected. Yeah, it's not, because in the natural stuff, like we talked about mushrooms before, you can't own mushrooms because I could just grow it in my house.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole issue with weed as well, and even just herbs. Like, we're
Yeah, all of it.
pretending like no herbs do anything. Whereas
Yeah.
most, I would say probably all of the drugs that they prescribe are synthetic versions of plant, plant whatever, stuff that's
Plant medicines.
yeah, exactly, stuff that comes from a plant. They research that
Yeah.
stuff. They go, oh, this does this. We're gonna separate this one piece of the plant that seems to be doing whatever is going on, and we're just going to make it synthetically, and then that way we can patent it, and then we can sell everybody this. But it's like,
Yeah.
that's still a super evil thing. You know, not
Yeah.
like, because
Of course.
everybody could just have herbs and grow them in their yard and take them and not have to go to the, like, in the United States, and I don't know, it's probably the same there, you're supposed to have a primary physician, and you
Yeah.
got to go every 6 months and get checked up. And they
What,
just,
for everyone?
yeah. Like, people, when I would go to the doctor, they would go, who's your primary physician? I'm like, I don't have a primary physician. What are you talking about? I go to the doctor when I break my leg in half. Like, I don't just go to the doctor because it's been 6 months. And I'm like,
Wait, and people do that? People go
yeah,
every 6 months? What the fuck?
yeah.
I go if I'm really ill with something. That's
That's
a
not,
problem too in this country because, you know, we have free healthcare,
yeah,
and the problem here is that, like, I only go if I think I'm dying, like
yeah.
some bad shit's happening, right?
That's me, though.
Problem here is because it's free, people go every other day.
Oh,
People
yeah.
who are, you know, yeah. So then when I go in, they go, dude, I had a problem with my breathing. My nose is fucked up. I have tons of scar tissue in my nose.
Mm-hmm.
And I had problems breathing for, you know, 8 years before I looked for help. And then when I looked for help, you know what the dude told me?
What?
Oh, well, go home for 2 weeks, come back. Maybe it gets better. I was
You're like, no,
dude,
8
I'm
years
coming
hasn't
here.
worked so far.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? But it's because, you know, all the whiny people go for every small thing. So then the doctor assumed that everyone who comes in is like overly sensitive to
Right.
everything.
No, and that's how emergency rooms are here as well. Especially, it seems to be, I mean, I guess I say this, but it seems to be more people in general, but a lot of immigrants here just go straight to the ER.
Yeah.
Like, I guess they don't have
Yeah.
a primary doctor or something, so they just go straight to the ER for, like, you know what I mean? They have a cold or get sick like that, and then they go to the ER, and you're like, okay, what are you
Yeah.
people doing? Like, that's not how it
Doesn't that
works. You
cost a
just,
shit ton of money?
well, you know, we like to subsidize people that don't have money's insurance from the
Yeah.
people that do have the money. So,
Mm.
like, they're not paying for it. But yeah, it's a huge load on our health system, but nobody wants to address that. But yeah, a lot of people just go whatever 6 months, get their blood tests, and then they go, oh, guess what? You have high cholesterol, which, again, we're getting way off track. But, like, so
Yeah.
they've lumped in, I don't know if you know this. So you have HDL and LDL. LDL is allegedly
know.
the bad one. Okay, well,
Yeah.
they've lumped in LDL and omega 6s, like, they lumped in LDL and something else together. And omega 6s from plant, like seed oils and stuff, raises whatever the other cholesterol is, but
Component.
they don't separate them, and they just have them together. So a lot of people's LDL is up because they're eating all these plant foods, but they
Processed
don't.
shit.
Yeah, they just classify it as LDL versus being like omega 6 LDL and omega 3 LDL. Like, they don't
Yeah.
classify it right, or they don't quantify it correctly. And then they just go, oh, your cholesterol is high, and then they start a cholesterol reduction, process. But we need cholesterol. Cholesterol actually shuttles nutrients and stuff around the body. So
Yeah, it's fucking essential.
yeah, which is why your body makes it.
That's why all the real good food has cholesterol in it, like eggs.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah. We're getting way off track, but still, it's fucking. It's a fun thing, and it's fun for me to compare like Sweden to the US, because here we have, university here is free, so to speak. All healthcare is free. And to give them some credit, like I've had surgeries and stuff from broken bones and stuff like that, and it's tremendous that way. Like orthopedic surgeons and stuff like that, they're fucking really good, and they really take care of you when you go. But the other stuff, it seems to me, it's not working.
Well, that's why
When
we
you
should be
like,
going to the doctor.
They work preventatively.
Yeah. We're
Yeah, what?
terrible. I was just saying you should be going to the doctor when you break something and you actually get hurt, not just go there and have them do arbitrary blood tests, and then they're not even well versed in nutrition. So then they don't know why they're just going to fix it with a pill instead of addressing your lifestyle.
Yeah, it's funny. My mother, so I actually had arrhythmia. And you know what that is?
Oh, heart arrhythmia? Yeah.
Yeah, arrhythmia. Yeah. So and I'm very young to get it. I got it in 2020. And then so what they do is they basically, if you come in before, I think it's 48 hours, they put you to sleep, they put like a car battery on your chest, and they go bang, and they restart like the rhythm of your heart. And I had that done to me probably 15 times in the last couple of years. And after like the 15th, because it kept coming back, I had it almost weekly.
Wow.
They decided to give me surgery. So what they do is they go through your inner thigh.
Yep, up the artery.
They go up the artery or the vein or something, and they burn some stuff in your heart. And it worked. It worked nice. I haven't had problems after that. But then I swear this was like yesterday. My mother-in-law called me, and she had symptoms that were super similar to what I used to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty much exactly like what I had. And she's had it for like 4 days now, on and off. So I gave her a phone number to the people who helped me out at the hospital, and she got connected. And then she called me again, like it was last night. And she said, oh, I talked to someone, and so she's on blood pressure medication.
Right.
And some of the side effects from the blood pressure medication is that. And I'm like, 100. I'll bet my whole house that is the medication that's doing that to you. I'd bet everything I own on that. And I think she went this morning to get checked up, and then she was fine. It's just the medication that fucked her.
Well, that's the thing. They just go, you're fine, because I bet they didn't draw back to the medication. They like to omit what actually happens, like the side effects of medication.
Yeah.
Like, I think I told you my dad his heart issue, and they were giving him a stomach pill, and
Yeah.
he goes, yesterday I was fine. What happened? So then he said, oh, I took the stomach pill. I looked it up, and heart arrhythmia was one of the first things, or like fluctuating heart rate. And I'm like, this is exactly what what you have. Like, and nobody,
Yeah.
how is this? You've been going to these doctors, and nobody's like, we're getting
Yeah.
into medical stuff, which I'm always mad about. But
Yeah,
the
me
point
too.
here is that I know it's like such a farce, all this stuff, and just people
Yeah.
are sick. You know, so many people are heavy and they're doing what they're told to do, and they can't get out of it because what they're being told to do is not right. And I mean, so all of this does circle back to what we're saying. You know, shit gets hidden, you know, and perpetrated that you and I and normal people would never, ever, ever believe somebody could do. Like, and again, I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt, turning your head for 9/11. You know, like,
Yeah.
this is best case scenario. They didn't actually set it up themselves. They just, you know, kind of didn't see it,
Look.
didn't stop it. Yeah. So, and it's like all these things that happen, whether it's food, medication, 9/11, result in the rich people getting richer.
Yeah. Well, it's all connected. So we started on 9/11, right? What happened? 9/11 happened, and then you guys invaded Afghanistan, which connects to heroin,
Yeah.
right? Which connects to the medical,
Yep.
which connects to food and how fucking fat and unhealthy everyone is. So it's all connected. It's like, of course it is. It's obvious to me and you now, but like people don't see it. But the thing I would like to, I know people who are not into this shit probably don't watch the show anyways, but if they did, if you're out there, if you're watching, if you look at the average fucking person in the US or in Sweden, anywhere, and I would say probably most people do what they're told from the TV.
Yeah.
And they follow along with the mainstream, right? So average person does what they're told by the government, by authorities, by the TV. And if you look at all those people, the average person is fucking fat, unhealthy, poor, and divorced if you've ever been married. Do you think that if you follow along and do what they do, that you're going to be better off than they are? That is fucking retarded.
Yeah, but nobody's
Obviously, you're not.
Everybody just puts it though on the individual person. You know what I mean? Not that their life choices have been somewhat persuaded by society. Does that make sense? Like, they're like, that's that person's whatever, their own, you know, personal issues. But it's like a lot of it, just like, you know, health and relationships, any of that, is what you're exposed to, right? So like if people are around shitty relationships, or their parents, let's say their parents fought all the time. Now you think that that's how a relationship is supposed to be, you know? So it's
if you see fat people everywhere and this is super normal, you
and
think,
then your
most
doctor
people are nice.
says it's not your fault too. You go to the doctor doctor says you're just genetically fat. It's not even their fault.
Oh, that's the new thing. That's hilarious. I saw that. Wasn't that you that posted the picture of like where's all the genetically fat people from the 1940s or whatever?
Yeah, it was 1911 video of New York City, and everybody is fucking pencil thin. Everybody.
Yeah,
in the
everyone
whole thing.
looks like normal people. Who
That
just
has to
eat
be some of our ancestors, no? Like, but so why aren't there 30% of the people that are fat in that if we all have their genes?
Yeah, and why is people in poor countries not fat if it's genetic and
Well,
it has nothing to do with fucking food?
They're getting fat now because guess what we're doing in poor countries? Bringing them cheap food.
Well, yeah. I guess it's better than no food. But
I guess so.
um, yeah, I mean, better than starving, right? But yeah, it's funny. But dude, there's a book on that topic. Like, I actually haven't read it, but my good friend read it. I think it's called Connected, and this dude is like a professor or something, and he explains how we are connected and affected by stuff. So one example that he took out from the book is that, like, so me and your friends, if your other friends are fat, that makes it more likely that I will become fat, even though I don't know those people, because you hanging out with them makes it in your head it's acceptable for your friends to be fat. So if I start eating donuts, you're not going to say anything because your other friends are already doing that. Like, there's stuff that connects people on different levels, where it's like you're affecting the rest of society on some level.
Well, yeah, it's
your
like
bad behavior and your bad habits is actually affecting everybody.
Well, and that makes sense even just in people obeying, silly, like, so we were at
yeah.
We were just at the Supercross, and they have this fan fest outside of the building. So you go outside into this, like, where the pits, where all the bikes are all the riders pits are and stuff. So we walk into there, and then you go in the one entrance. Now, when we went out there, there was like 3 entrances. We go out there into the fan fest. They shut down every entrance and exit but one. They left one. So we go to leave to see the second set of practice, and there's no lie, 300 people standing there just staring at, like, the gate to get out, and they run it through, like, this little corridor, and there's just nobody's going anywhere. They're just standing there. So we walk down to the exit the way that you could come and go before. They literally shut the gate as we're walking down there, and they're like, no, you can't go out this way. And we're like, why not? We already paid to get in. We've already been in here. We're not, like, they're like, no, you can't go out there. And now this is just some guy working the gate.
Yeah.
You got to go out the way that you came in. We're like, so this is 5-10 minutes. And there are 30 people standing here asking this guy to get out. And he's just going, no, you can't. Let me try calling somebody. He calls somebody. They go, no, they got to go out the same gate. So finally somebody else walks over and he's like, you guys got to go out the way you came in. And we're like, you go to the gate and see if you can walk out. I said, there's like 300 people standing there stuck. Nobody can get out of here. So we finally end up, and I had thought about it too. I felt bad for the guy at the gate. But eventually some guy that was standing next to us was like, fuck this, and pushed the guy out of the way and pushed the gate open. And it's like,
yeah,
we should have just left 10 minutes earlier. But we were all trying to be nice and obey the rules, even though the rules that had been in place are totally not safe. So you mean if you have a fire, I guess they would have opened it. It was an emergency exit. But, like, you're running the risk of having people, like, if something were to happen, trampled in that gate, or, like, I still don't even understand what was the reasoning for having one entry and exit point. At least have one entry and then a different exit. But why would you try to force everybody through the same? That doesn't seem safe anyway.
That's the same shit they did during COVID, dude, in the stores around here. So you know how they have the things that when you walk out, it's the anti-shoplifting, the alarm things. Yeah. Right? So they would have, like, one here, and then the next one here, and then the next one here. They shut 2 of those down, so everyone has to walk through the same thing. And I'm like, that only means that we're going to be even closer to each other. Yeah. Like, if you're trying to protect us against the fucking virus, how does that make sense?
You're
just cramming everyone into the same space.
This is different, but one of my biggest pet peeves. Why, if there's 2 doors at the front of a building, is one always locked? Do they do that in Sweden? They don't do that? You'll have 2 doors, right? And then you're like, only this one's open. Sorry. What the fuck do you have 2 doors for?
There's like 2 connected.
Yeah, they're just right. And then you always walk over to this one, you're like, it won't open. Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they do
That's
that.
fucking stupid.
All the
But it's
time
like
it happens.
people go along with this stuff. Dude, did you see the video from the pandemic? This was one of my favorite videos throughout the whole thing. So it's like outside a mall or something in, I think, the UK. And a dude, to demonstrate how sheepish we are, like, he takes one of the, you know, the hair rollers that you do on your clothes to get cat hair and shit off.
Uh-huh.
You know, those like sticky rollers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's standing in front of the entrance to the mall, and when people
Nah.
walk up, he goes like this, stand like that, and then he rolls their arms like it's a
Yeah.
metal detector or something. And people walk up and they're like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, people are so,
You see it all the time, right? There's this
I don't even know how to explain it.
There's this long line, and everybody just gets into the line, and like the next lane over for
Yeah.
checkout or whatever has like nobody
Yeah.
in it, but everybody's just like, oh, they're
Yeah.
standing here. I'll just stand behind these people. And that's most of
It's crazy.
society. People don't want to rock the boat. It's the same reason why you can't go. There's not more people being like, 9/11 was orchestrated or whatever, because they don't want the rest of society to turn on them and be like, you're an idiot, you're whatever, like Alex Jones, you're
Yeah.
upsetting the family members of the people that died or whatever the hell it is, but you're right. I mean, and that's one of our, it's interesting, all the people, the normal people, I don't know, do you know what an NPC is?
Yeah.
Like, I even have a friend, yesterday I was listening to a podcast. You go, how are there NPCs? How are there non-playable characters in this life? But I was listening to Rogan and Brewer on the Rogan show, and they're talking about how all this stuff is fucked up. And then my friend goes, what are you trying to brainwash yourself? And I go, if you go with whatever you're told, I said, it sounds like you're brainwashing yourself. And he's just like, I don't go with whatever's told, but I know I have no way to change it. And I'm like, because you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's it.
I mean-
Nobody wants to upset the apple
Yeah.
cart and be the bad person. And that's why they paint all this stuff that way. That's why they paint you a conspiracy theorist. That's why they paint you whatever, so that if you don't just go along with the narrative, then you're some kind of terrible person.
This is the whole thing. Like, if we talk about them, you know, the doors and the lines, and you can't go here, but you have to stand here and stuff like that. I've noticed that actually, if you just go on the other lane and just go, usually there's no fucking consequence anyways. And people still go along with it. It's funny, like, I have kids and stuff, and to me, you know, like in school, how they have rules. Like when I went to school, they used to say, take your hat off in class.
Mm-hmm.
I understand we have rules and we have to respect the teachers and elders and stuff. But when I was a kid, I was like, why? Why do I have to take my hat off?
Yeah.
Does that affect my ability to learn or some shit? Like, why? Give me a reason and I'll take it off. But if there's no good reason for it, then why? And I try to put that into my son too, or I will. It's like, if someone tells you to do some shit, ask them why.
Yeah. At least
don't just go along with everything.
Yeah, at least have some kind of like inner dialogue where you're like, like what is this all actually accomplishing? You know, because a lot of times you're not, it's like, just like you said, just shit that they decided, and now it's like you got to follow along with it, and most people do with everything. And that's most people do not want conflict,
confrontation.
Yeah, they don't want turmoil, they don't want conflict, they just want everything to be cool. But the problem is that we're then very susceptible to the people that are ruthless enough to manipulate everything.
Exactly. But on that point too, like, even if you're scared of conflict, I mean, first of all, you can do it in a very nice way. You can ask questions in a very nice way. And also, even if you get into a discussion with someone, like, I don't know. To me, it's like, what are you scared of? You're not. You think he's gonna stab you if you ask him a question? Like, what do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah.
Why can't we talk to people even if we disagree? Let's just have the discussion, and I don't know.
We're not in China
It's weird.
yet.
Not yet. We're getting there though.
That's China. You can't do that shit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't be like question the government or whatever. But
Yeah.
we're not there yet. So we need to question so that we don't end up there, because we're
Exactly.
approaching that way at warp speed right now, you know.
Yeah.
And it's all under the guise of safety and having a civilized society, which at the same time they're allowing people to shoplift as long as it's under $900. Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that. That's fucking ridiculous. That's crazy. $900? That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and they're not even showing it on the news. I follow a bunch of, conspiracy people, but there have been huge lootings in Chicago and a bunch of other places. Oh, San Francisco, the Target now has everything behind glass. You have to go in there and I guess ask people to come and unlock everything for you. Like this is
Man,
not...
if I could get away with stealing $900 worth of shit in each store, I'd be making $9,000 a day.
Yeah.
Easily. That'd be all that I did, was just go around stealing shit. Like,
And
if I had no job and no nothing, like,
well, it's huge groups, so people, they're not, being able to arrest all the people. And guess what? They're organizing online. We have all this intelligence and we're allowed to eavesdrop on everybody, but nobody's like, hey, let's follow this Facebook group to make sure that they don't loot another store.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Dude, I have to get going. I know we came way off of 9/11, but it's been fun anyways. Oh yeah, I saw that Ryan logged on.
Oh, did he? I didn't see anything.
He did. It was recent, yeah. He wanted us to do an episode on Epstein's Island. We talked about that already, but maybe not.
We did a little bit.
It doesn't matter what topic we pick. We just go somewhere else anyways.
That's where we'll start. We'll start with Epstein Island.
Yeah, we'll start. All right. Hey, yeah. Good episode. I don't know. This was fun. Like always.
Let us know anything you guys got pertaining to 9/11 or any of that. Sorry, we said that it was going to be on Thursday this week, and it was going to, but then my fiance's car wouldn't come apart on Monday, so then I had to work on it Tuesday as well, and that pushed back my whole schedule. So next week we'll try to get it on Thursday. But thanks for dropping in, Ryan. Sorry, how can I let you guys all know when we're going to be on? I need a way to be like, it's going to be this time or whatever. So
I mean, we'll try to set it up as like same day, same time every week eventually, right?
I think you can post on pages on YouTube accounts now, like kind of Facebook or whatever. So maybe I'll try that. They do have like I'd have to show you it, but they do have like a community type deal or whatever. So I don't know. I'll try that. See if anybody pays attention.
Yeah.
But, all right, everybody. Yes, we'll look into Epstein's Island, and there you go. He says there's a way you can put a notification on YouTube. I'll look into that, and then I'll be able to notify people. Also, Ryan, I had a conversation. I text back and forth with Romanelli a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe some free thinkers stuff in the future. So
yeah, and dude, maybe we should get. Was it what's the other guy's name, man? Bob's Cat.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get him on the show. Actually,
should get either one of these guys. They're very knowledgeable.
Ryan, anyone.
They're very knowledgeable on alternate truth believing.
Yeah, also known as conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching if you made it this long. And yeah, message us, whatever. Let us know anything you want us to